All right, I think we've got a good amount of people who've joined. I know between the security patch at the winter storms in the United States and all that, there's a lot going on. Hopefully, those that are joining a little later are able to catch up or watch the session through YouTube once we post it later. But for now, I'm actually going to jump through and start in. So thank you everyone for attending our third session inside of Marketing Cloud, the Next Generation series. This one is actually going to be on Marketing Cloud engagement. Lana, could you switch to the next slide, please? I do want to, well, the other one was a thank you. I do want to thank everyone that has made it to the call. I want to thank everyone that's helped set this up, and I want to thank all of our speakers throughout each of the series. So thank you, everyone. And to that, I want to go to the next slide, which is talking about our series organizers. I want to thank the Salesforce Marketing Champions group as a whole, because that's actually where we've gotten a lot of our support, including most of our speakers have come from the Marketing Champions community. I want to thank How to SFMC for helping us host this and get a lot of the administrative stuff in order to be able to uh, get these sessions out there and get these moving forward. And then, of course, Salesforce, I want to thank them for giving us Gilda, who is the best, who has helped support much of this and be able to give a lot of feedback and administrative support there. So the next one, I wanted to kind of address some frequent questions that come up inside of the series. Yes, this is recorded. Each session is recorded and will be uploaded on the How to SFMC YouTube channel. As I said before, all questions, please put them into the chat window. We will try to address them on the call. There is both response in chat as well as a Q&A section at the end. If we aren't able to get to them, though, we have an AMA session next week that we will try and move a lot of those questions over and try to answer them there if we have the ability to. And then there is a Slack channel to continue the conversation that is in How to SFMC community, and that's on howtosfmc.com, where you can fill out a form to join that community. Next slide is upcoming series, our sessions and dates. We had both the first and second session on personalization and marketing intelligence. Those are done and up on the YouTube channel if you want to check them out. Today is Engagement Plus with Banu. And then, like I said, next week, which you'll notice it's on the 5th, which is a Thursday, I believe. That one was moved to allow for us to get as many of the speakers back on as possible to ensure we can answer and provide as much detail as we can to everyone that has questions there. And then I'm going to move to the forward-looking statement. Again, this is just basically saying that what you see here shouldn't affect your purchase decisions or things like that. It's all mostly roadmap and more for us to share visually, and not something that you should use as defined fact. And purchases, all of that should be pushed through with your Salesforce account executive and things like that in the official channels. With that note, I'm actually going to pass it to Banu to introduce himself and move forward with the content. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Greg. So moving to the next slide. This is me. I'm Banu. I'm speaker covering Engagement Plus. I'm a senior manager at Accenture. I live in Toronto, Canada. I'm very excited to be here, and hopefully I can share and help you understand what Engagement Plus is and what capabilities it brings to you. So going into the agenda for today, so yeah, let's ground ourselves into what Engagement Plus is. We're going to cover some setup requirements. So there are some things that should be in the platform and be ready so that you can actually start leveraging Engagement Plus. And then what are the specific capabilities that it unlocks, which is where we'll spend most of our time today. So we will be covering as part of the capabilities, the marketing campaign integration with the MCE journeys. We're going to cover some analytics and reporting, how it is going to look like going forward. And then, and my favorite is journey orchestration and triggering from Flow. So basically, how you could orchestrate your journeys and you can trigger them from the flow that is available as part of the Salesforce Core. So, just to set the expectations for the session, I will be operating through the SDO org that Salesforce offers. And the SDO orgs are not yet equipped with Engagement Plus features. But what I would still do is I would be in the platform. I will start building the components to the point where we would actually need one of the Engagement Plus related feature. When I will switch back into the slides, show you a screenshot or something on the slide that would basically represent how that component would look like in the platform. So we would do a bit of back and forth, but I'll try to be as seamless as possible. So that's the idea with the platform walkthroughs here. So, and then if time permits, like Greg mentioned, we'll do a bit of Q&A at the end of the session. With that, okay, let's see what Engagement Plus is. Think of Engagement Plus, and again, you may have seen this slide, so I don't want to go or spend a lot of time on this. We have a lot of ground to cover. But Engagement Plus is something that is offered to the engagement Marketing Cloud engagement users who would now be able to leverage or access the agentic marketing capability. This is not where you would have to do a lot of changes in your current MCE, nothing like that. You basically can continue the MCE. You have your journeys, automations, everything could go on in there. But now you are with MCE, with Engagement Plus, you can actually access capabilities that Salesforce Core offers, like MCE Next. You have Data Cloud. As you can see in the diagram, you have Agentforce. All these things you can start to leverage with Engagement Plus. So we are going to see how that would look like. But before that, let's get to the basics. So how do we have the setup ready so that you can start leveraging Engagement Plus? So one of the key components for MC Next as a whole is Data Cloud. Right. So Data Cloud or Data 360, its new name. So that is going to be your data layer, the foundational layer in MC Next. Agentforce related stuff leverages that. Any flows, everything will be dependent on how you model your Data Cloud. So the first setup requirement here would be having your Data 360 ready, and there are some foundational elements in Data 360 that have to be configured, like ID resolution rules, data graphs, which I'll explain a bit in later in the session, what data graph is and how you would configure it to leverage for Engagement Plus. And then once you have your Data 360 setup, you would also have to have the MC Next setup complete as well. So this basically is like a set of data kits or packages that you need to install, which will give you like the MC Next features. Like it includes like flows, it includes the specific marketing campaigns, analytics, things like that that you'll start to leverage going forward once you have this installed. Another recommendation would also be to install Marketing Performance. So Marketing Performance, we'll cover it later, but that is a report that is like an analytics tab that is available for you. You will start to see all the integrated analytics across MC flows, everything together in one place. And I want to go a bit in the platform here just for a second, because one of the things I would like to show is, and remember, so if you are already a Data 360 customer, if you are already using it, and if you have already connected your current MCE org to Data 360, then that basically means that you are not going to do an additional extra setup here. You already have Marketing Cloud engagement connected to your Salesforce Core. Okay, so you can safely ignore the step around connecting MCE through Marketing Cloud assisted setup, because that is already done through your Data 360. Okay, so how would you check that, or how would you see that? you can actually see in Data Cloud, once you go here, you will see that your Data Cloud is set up when you have all of this like this, and you'll see the org instance generated, your tenant endpoint generated. And then if you go into the Marketing Cloud engagement, you will see that using the connector, you have connected your enterprise ID, your marketing MCE into your Data Cloud. And as part of this connection, you generally give access to your business units that Data Cloud has access to, which basically means that by extension, MC Next also will have access to those business units as well. And those are the business units you can start to leverage in your as part of your Engagement Plus in Salesforce Core. Okay, so with that, let me switch back into the slides. Okay, so now you have your setup complete. Once you have your setup complete in MCE, this is how it would look like. So you will start to see a new icon. Maybe you are seeing that icon right now, but it is not doing much because it probably is just an informational icon. You click on it, it tells you like this is what it is. But now with the setup complete with MCE Plus or Engagement Plus, you will start to see a lot more options in there. So you will now be able to connect to Agentforce Builder that is on Salesforce Core, analytics, campaigns, which are marketing campaigns that are on Core as well. So digital wallet, where you can see some consumption information, flows, you have your marketing performance analytics as well, and then segmentation, which is your Data Cloud segments. So all these features now you will start to see here. You click here, you can go into Salesforce Core and you can start to like play around or build stuff on. So that's how you would know that you have completed the setup. Okay, so now over the series of next slides, what we'll be doing is we'll be looking at multiple capabilities that Engagement Plus unlocks for you. I will be explaining the capability, and then I will be going into the platform to, as I mentioned, show where you would be seeing the capability, how you would set it up, and I will do a bit of back and forth with the slides to show some screenshots as well. So the first thing that we will look at here, one of the key capabilities that it is unlocking is now you can actually link your Marketing Cloud journeys to a Salesforce campaign. So you may have your multiple journeys that you are running in Marketing Cloud. You have your setup done, you have your audience going in and out and all of that, and all the analytics are being generated, like sends, opens, clicks, and everything. So what with this capability that you are able to unlock is that all those analytics will now start going into the campaign. You can actually visualize all those journeys within the campaign, like what are the different journeys that are there, and then what are the analytics and things like that. You'll start to see here. So this is a very interesting capability, because now a campaign will be your umbrella. Campaign is where you are kind of planning, orchestrating things. You have your flows you may start to build for that campaign in Core. Then you could leverage your existing journeys that you could link to this campaign. So now you have everything in one place, with campaign kind of being like your umbrella, where you are maintaining that particular communication strategy for that particular program. So if I go into the platform for this, and I will be in the marketing app, which is MC Next app. So this is what you'll get once you have it. And then you click on the campaigns, which is your marketing campaigns, which is it's not different than Salesforce campaigns. It's the same. This is a different type of campaign, which captures the view that I had shown in here in the earlier slide. So if I open a specific campaign here, as you can see, there are flows that whatever are built for this campaign are under this, and then we'll look at performance in the upcoming slides. But here, what will happen is once you have your Engagement Plus enabled, you will start to see journeys as an option here. Okay, so as you can see here, so the journeys will start to show up here, and with the click of the plus button, you will start to visualize or see all the list of journeys, and then you can start to like select whatever journeys that you want to link to this campaign. Okay, so One of the things that I have seen, and again, I have seen multiple variations of it and the documentations, as well as in some of the Salesforce's videos. So I think one of the ways that you could connect your journey to a campaign is by validating the journey. And when you validate the journey, it will start to recommend you to connect to a campaign. And when you click on it, now you go into Salesforce, you select the campaign, and then or you get to create a campaign, and then you connect it. And then the other variation I had seen is that you will start to see where I'm hovering my mouse here. To the left of the version, you will start to see connect to a campaign button. So the same button will start to show up here. So it's more straightforward, it's more visible. So you can directly click on it and you can link your journey to a campaign. And there's another way, which is, like I mentioned, you could go into the campaign, select plus here, and then once you click there, you will start to see the list of journeys that have available for that particular business unit. Remember, the business units that you will see here are the business units that you have actually enabled Data Cloud to see. And whenever there is Data Cloud, by extension, MC Next also has the same visibility. So you have your, these are the business units you could choose from. And these are the journeys that you have selected. And once you are done, once the journey is linked, you'll see that, I think I understood that the time is within an hour. You'll start to see all the journey related metrics like opens, clicks, everything will start to flow into this campaign. So with that, let's look at the next capability. That is a continuation of what we had spoken earlier. So now that you have all your journeys linked to your marketing campaign in Salesforce, you will start to see all the engagement events, opens, clicks, things like that generated, and they'll all be carried over automatically. So where would you see that? Let's go into the platform. So in the platform, in the campaign, as you can see, there is a performance tab, which showcases all the metrics, analytics of the flows and the journeys that you link to the campaign, everything together in here. So there are two sections here. So the insights will give you a summary of your channel related engagement metrics. So you have your email click-through, sends, opens, all the general things that you see. There are some performance overviews as well. And because this is an SDO org and I don't have like any real data on this, I use C0 in here. But once you have your actual journeys, you'll start to see values. And then you can filter on the top here with whatever specific flows or specific journeys. That will be an additional option that you'll start to see here. So you can select those, and then you can see only for the specific analytics of that particular journey or flow. And then the other option that you have here to select is deliverability. So with deliverability, you will see like how your emails have been performing deliverability wise, like how is the bounce, hard bounces, soft bounces, things like that, any failed emails. So there's like one place where you can visualize that without actually going into the reporting inside MC. So same here, you can select the journeys to also see just the journey specific ones. But remember, when you are in the campaign and you're selecting the performance section here, you're only seeing metrics for all the flows and journeys that are linked to this campaign. So this is important to remember, because in the next capability that we'll see how we can actually see an overall cross campaign metrics and cross journey metrics. So that is going to be our next section here. But before that, I'll just show you a bit of screenshots of how the campaign performance would show up like. So you'll select here and you'll start to see like performance breakdown. What is your again, all this revenue, cost, all this information is coming from the campaign details itself that you would pre-populate. And you also see here, like I mentioned, there is a section here to select the journeys that you have linked to this campaign, so that you can only see the metrics of your journey. And some additional screenshots just to show you what else you will be able to see here. So you have like some click-throughs, bounces, etc. And you will also be able to leverage Agentforce. So Agentforce is also equipped with kind of by default, it's able to give you some summary of the campaign So you just need to select, like, summarize this campaign for me or generate insights, and it will start to give you like information based on all the information that it can pull from whatever is available in here. Moving on. So we have okay. So far we have seen like campaign level metrics. There are 2 additional reporting tools that MC Next offers for you, that where you will be able to see like a lot more information, a lot more analytics. So there are 2 reporting tools. One is marketing performance, which is a tab in itself. Same for analytics, which is another option that is available for you for analytics. So both of these reside as tabs on this marketing app here in Salesforce. So you'll see marketing performance and analytics. And what marketing performance does for you is it's going to give you like sends and engagement trends. It is going to show you like you saw the metrics across email, SMS, WhatsApp, everything. But now you will start to actually see across campaigns. So it's not just one campaign, it will be like across multiple campaigns. You will start to see the data. You'll start to see things like top performing segments, top performing campaigns, things like that as well. And then if you go into analytics, in analytics, so here there are 3 components. We have our amazing presenters in the earlier session that are presented about marketing intelligence. So you'll start to access that as well from the same place here. CRMA, so everything is kind of integrated into this one tab. So CRMA, you have your dashboards, components, things like that you can connect or use here. And then you have your standard Lightning reports dashboards that if you are a CRM user, you would have already built like some reports and dashboards through the Lightning interface that you already have. So you can access that from here as well. So you can start to build report on like some data cloud related objects, things like that. So basically you can report on your marketing information or a combination of that and some Salesforce information as well. So these are the 2 things that I would like to show around analytics and metrics. So and then after that, I think going into the main capabilities that I would like to kind of focus a lot more of our time on for today is what could you do with the flow and your journeys, because journeys reside in MCE, and then flow is a very powerful component that kind of integrates like everything that is there in Salesforce, right? So you can have like multiple different types of flows that leverage different components. Like it could get components from Service Cloud, Sales Cloud, Data Cloud, things like that. So flow is a very powerful component. So how do we now start to leverage the flow using Engagement Plus? So one of the very important capability that we are unlocking with Engagement Plus is you actually can trigger a flow from an event that generates out of your MCE journey. So think of like a use case. Maybe you have like a loyalty engagement journey, something that you have been running so far in your MCE org. You have your loyal customers and you are sending them through like some informational emails or some kind of like a thanking them for loyalty kind of emails. And then once they exited the journey, maybe you would want to do more about it. Maybe you would want to update some loyalty information in CRM based on they going through the journey in MCE. Or maybe you'd like to maybe send different kinds of communications to them once they exited the journey. Or maybe the goal of the journey is met, like some person has reached the goal and you would like to do something more to that person through with the data that you have in CRM or in Data Cloud, right? So these are the kind of use cases that you will start to unlock with this option. So as you can see here, and I will go into the flow just to show you where you would start to see these features here. But basically, the 3 options right now that are available for us to trigger a flow are journey entry, journey exit, and goal met. So these are the 3 events that are exposed right now with Engagement Plus for you to trigger the flow. Okay, so the power that it basically brings is, now if you are able to use it, like I mentioned, you can leverage additional data from like Salesforce CRM, Data Cloud, things like that to enrich the experience of the person in the customer journey with the brand. So going into the platform, so let's start to let's go into the loyalty engagement campaign. So you have your loyalty engagement journey here that is running, and you thank them for their loyalty. Maybe you send them some weekly exclusives and things like that. Now you are in the loyalty engagement campaign where you linked the journey as well. So now you start to see all the metrics together. So what you are going to do now is, maybe let's start creating a flow here. And the flow will be on the journey trigger, right? So that means it is an event based flow. So the trigger will be like a event. So here, let's go into the flow canvas itself instead of within the campaign, because we can start to see a lot more things in the flow canvas. Okay, so here, now this is event triggered flow. So you will start to select the journey events that you will that are exposed to you. You have like enter journey, you have your exit journey, goal met, right? So as you can see, this lists all the events that are available for you to trigger the flow. And this is where, as part of this list, once you have your engagement plus enabled, as part of this list, you'll start to see those three options as well that we saw before. And the moment, let's say I select that event, right? So let's assume this is that event. So I select it, then I can go into the further steps. So this event is configured. So that means now when the event occurs, once you activate this flow will be triggered. Okay, so now what I will do is, now that you have triggered the flow with this, let's take the use case of okay, these are my loyal customers. I have sent them already some communications to Marketing Cloud, and I would like to check their loyalty tier status. So are they like in gold category or silver category? And based on the category they are in, maybe I would like to send them different kinds of communications or whatever it is. So let's look at the steps later, but let's add a decision point here first. So we could do a decision here, and in the decision, we are going to check for the loyalty tier status. So this is where we are connecting both the worlds, as you observe. So you have your engagement data, like subscribers that completed a journey come in. Now you are going through, and this is the important part here. So you are putting a decision here called check tier status, and you're putting the condition of checking for gold status, and then the other outcome would be a silver status. Okay. And in the gold status, now you're going to check for the actual attribute that will give you what is the status of the person, right? So we go into a data graph, and this is where, again, like I mentioned, the foundational work of Data Cloud becomes very important. Data graph is something that you would build in Data Cloud, which connects all the objects that you require to be used in a flow for decisioning, for additional orchestration, for personalization purposes. That basically means that this data graph should contain all the tables and the data elements that you want to use in the flow, simply stating. So you don't need to connect every single object from Data Cloud into the data graph. You only need the points that you need. So that is important, because again, you don't want to blow up your data graph to like some 30 different objects, because that's not going to help here. It will just like delay things. Rather, you put the key objects that you have. So what I had already configured in my data graph is, I configured my loyalty information to be linked to this data graph. So that means I have my unified individual, and I have my individual, and in the individual, you can see the loyalty program member. So the loyalty program member, I'm checking for the loyalty tier. I'm checking for the tier name, which would be gold. Okay. So when I do that, and I can do the same logic for here, or it will just be like an exception. So that means anybody who is not gold is silver, something like that. So now that I have this configured, a lot of options now open up for me, right? So now I have a decision point here, and now I can actually have two paths, and I could do whatever is relevant to that person that is going into a certain path. So going back into the slides, so that is this capability. But as you can see in the next capabilities, we'll continue the similar use case or the same flow that we are building right now, with what additional things that Engagement Plus unlocks for you on the flow level, and what else can you do for the subscriber who now just went into two different decision paths. So now the next important capability that Engagement Plus is unlocking for you is an action in the flow called send to journey. So as the word explains, like you're literally sending the subscriber that is in the flow back into a journey in MC. So now a lot more use cases open up for us, right? So now you have made a decision here, right? So you have decided that, okay, this person is in, so you checked which tier status the person is in. Now this person is in the gold tier. Now what you are going to do is you click here and you'll start to see like a bunch of options, right? So one of the things is action, and this is where you will start to see this action, which is send to journey. So a send to journey action will basically let you. So the moment you select the action in here, it will show you the list of journeys that are available for you to select. And the moment you select it, you will have the journey configured in here in the flow. So the same approach you can do for the silver silver path as well. So add an action here and just select the journey that you would like this person to go in. So now looking back at it, think of what you had done and think of what you would need to do if you were to just do it in engagement. So flow here has become your orchestration layer, right? So flow is acting as kind of like that, acting as something that basically decides based on the decision that you had chosen across like data cloud, loyalty data for your MCE subscriber. And now you have sent them to different MCE journeys, right? So you essentially chained the journeys sequentially or in any order within the same flow. So if the same thing, if you were to set up in MCE, first of all, you only have MCE data to deal with unless you create additional connections. And then you will be building some automations and update contact events to update the data extensions. And then once the person exits the journey, the contact is updated, and then you enter them into like another journey, right? So here you just do everything within one flow. Okay, so that is like the power of this send to journey option. And then earlier, as we see, you are basically triggering that email. You can trigger the flow from MCE journey events, and now you are also sending a subscriber to the journey. Now coming to some of the watchouts or some of the things that we need to know to enable these kind of things, right? So one of the important things is that you need to know is the journey that you create in MCE, which you want to leverage in here. Which you want to leverage in here. It has to be an API triggered journey. So the entry event has to be like an API entry event naturally, because it cannot be like a data extension entry event here. So it's an API entry event, and then only those kind of events will start to show up in here. Remember that. The second thing is subscriber keys, right? So the subscriber key as a concept is different in MC Next. We don't call it subscriber key. We don't have generally like a subscriber key as a subscriber key in MC Next, but rather the way it works is you have your unified individual profile that is created as a result of your ID resolution that you're doing in the platform. And the unified individual has multiple instances of the person coming from different places linked to it, right? So that basically means that there are multiple individual IDs of the person that are flowing up to the unified individual. So which is one profile. So this flow always takes in the unified individual, right? And then when it is supposed to send the communication, for example, it will choose the right individual ID at the runtime, depending on the rules that you set and the rules that it will determine the right contact point to be able to send that emails, right? So the subscriber key concept is different. So that is one of the important distinctions. The next thing is, if you next thing is consent, right? So consent in Marketing Cloud, we consider consent like that, whether the person is subscribed or not, against a subscriber key level, right? So consent here in MC Next will be always remember it's a default opt out. That basically means that the person will be considered opt out unless you actually have a consent record created. The consent record will be created or will need to be created in a object called communication subscription consent. And the consent is stored at the email address level, as well as the channel level, and also the type of communication subscription level. So that basically means that you can have the same email address, but your consent could be different for like an email or a phone, email or SMS or WhatsApp. Similarly, you can have the same email address and same channel, but maybe the type of communication that you are sending is different. So the type of the subscription would be different for that. Basically means you'll have two records for the same guy. So I think these are some considerations. So they don't necessarily apply to our specific use case here, because you started your trigger from within your from Marketing Cloud. That basically means the subscriber key will be shared and coming into this flow, and you are sending back you're sending the person back into another MCE journey. Again, subscriber key will be shared back there. So this use case may not necessarily require any of that. But one thing that this requires though is this piece. So the data graph, when you set up, how is this flow able to navigate to loyalty member tier, and how is this flow able to understand that this is the person that I'm checking the loyalty tier for, right? So that basically means that, again, coming back to Data Cloud foundational setup and the data modeling, you need to make sure that the subscriber key that of Marketing Cloud is somehow linked and is able to navigate through these multiple tables that you see in here. You have the unified individual, loyalty program member, loyalty member tier. So you need to make sure that the subscriber key propagates through these to the point where you can actually check for their member tier. So the data modeling in Data Cloud becomes important here, because or else if it loses the link at some point in the beginning, then you cannot actually make a decision at the end. So a few call outs I wanted to make around this. And also when I mentioned about the consent and about the subscriber keys, right? So there might be situations where you would want to follow the same approach, but maybe you do not want to trigger the flow from a journey itself. Maybe you are just creating a segment in Data Cloud, and you would like to send communications through Marketing Cloud journeys for that segment, and you added that segment in here. You took the decision. That is where you need to make sure that the subscriber key concept is clearly understood. So if you already have like a Data Cloud to MCA connectivity, if you are already running journeys, activating segments to Data Cloud, I think this is not a concept that is, I mean, this is a concept that should be familiar for you already, of how individual ID would be the one that will show up in your MCE side and the data extension as a subscriber key and things like that. So yeah, so with that, I think I would like to move on to the next capability. But just to recap, what you're doing here is you have your journeys in Marketing Cloud. You're using some of the events that happened in the journey. You triggered a flow here, and within the flow, you took some decisions using the loyalty data that is in CRM by leveraging the data graph of Data Cloud, and then you sent your subscriber through a couple of paths, like gold path, silver path, and then depending on the path they went into, you send them to different kinds of journeys back in MC. Okay. So then the next capability that I would like to show is journey decisioning agent. So as I mentioned here, you will also start to leverage more and more Agentforce related related stuff within MCE, because now that you have your engagement plus queue, you now have access to like agentic features as well. So one of the agents that will be of extreme help for us here for journey orchestration will be journey decisioning agent. So what this does is two things. One, journey decisioning agent determines the next best journey for a particular member in the flow, depending on the subscriber context you give. The second thing that it does is it is going to create some custom content that you could leverage in your journeys in MCE. The custom content piece, I will spend less time today, maybe at the end. I want to focus on the next best journey piece here. Okay, so how does this journey decisioning agent work? What does it require? So always remember that in any agent, it doesn't have to be this agent, any agent in Salesforce, right? So it can only make the best decisions, or the outcome will be as suited to the customer as possible only when the inputs are the right ones. The moment you have like a very clear instructions given to the agent, it will start to make the best decisions. So it depends a lot on your inputs. With that, what inputs does it need? So when you are setting up this agent, there are two things that you are supposed to provide. The first thing is the subscriber context. That basically means that, similar to earlier how we had seen data graph with all the different elements of the person, right? So you need to give like that path of the data graph to this agent. That is one way to give subscriber context. Or you choose not to give a data graph, but you have like maybe some other custom process where and the data is stored elsewhere. You can also kind of give like a instructions and that a subscriber context in a custom way as well to the agent. So once you are given the subscriber context, now the second thing that you could you need to provide is the list of journeys that it needs to choose from. So the limit right now is 5 journeys. So from the 5 journeys in MCE, it will choose the best journey that a particular member in the flow is supposed to go into. Okay. So here, again, for every journey, you need to provide to the agent the overview, explaining what exactly this journey is, and then the expected outcome, like what exactly is this journey about, and what are you expecting out of this particular journey? Because the expected outcome is what will help the agent also kind of think about, okay, so this is the journey that is best suited for this particular subscriber, because we have said that this journey is supposed to offer the right product to the customer if that person is in this particular loyalty tier, for example, like something like that. So yeah, so you are giving these two things, subscriber context and then the list of journeys with their outcomes. What will this agent generate out? So what this agent generates is a flow for decisioning. This flow is not the flow that you are building, but rather this flow automatically generates on the side. That does some probably and I haven't seen that flow, but my understanding is I think that flow would possibly be the one that will push the data into MC. Okay, so you have the flow for decisioning, flow for content. Then you have 2 data extensions created. One data extension that stores the journey selection data. That means the agent has decided on what journey to send the subscriber to. So that data will be in that flow, as well as another data extension for the content data. Okay. So these 2 data extensions, obviously they reside in MCE. And one of the things that we could, so again, this is where I want to also state like the different messaging that I'm seeing from Salesforce documentation. So one of the things is that these data extensions obviously will get populated with like the subscriber key information as well as the best journey. So the way that you would use that is you take that information, maybe you would like to add some additional logic conditions to that, and then you can put them into the corresponding marketing cloud journeys, right? So that is one way to do it. The other way that I had seen is within the flow itself. Basically, the agent takes the decision, and then automatically it will start to generate like the 5 paths within the flow, and each path in the flow is a type of journey that you have initially provided to the agent, and the agent will choose to send that person to one of these paths depending on its decision. So that is a second option that I had seen. Again, I would only I mean, I would like to test it to see how that performs and how it would look like. So far, just to recap, so 2 things that the journey decisioning agent would do. One is it determines the best journey, determines the best content, and then it will send that information into data extensions in Marketing Cloud. So the other thing that, as I mentioned, I'm not 100% sure is something that is happening, but I had seen in some places that this is how it is the flow, the agent will send them through one of these paths. But having said that, how would they actually go into the journey? So the journey decisioning agent made the decision, send them to the path. Now it will start to leverage the action that we had discussed before. So it will use the send to journey action to send them through that particular Marketing Cloud journey. Okay, so here I want to dive in a little bit into, okay, what options we have. So one option is, like I mentioned, you have all the data populated in data extensions. So the agent has taken the decision that data extensions have the data. Like I mentioned, you can make some decisions over there in MCE. Maybe you choose to send them through those journeys or not. It is up to you, because now the data is in MCE to take. You can freely make those decisions in MCE. If you want to leverage or go further into the flow, right? So what you can also do is, so let's say you have chosen the agent here, right? So you have selected the agent here, and then after that, you could actually add a decision point very similar to this, and you can bring those data extensions that are there in MCE back into Data Cloud, right? So as if you're already having Data Cloud to MCE connectivity, you know that like data extensions have like every hour refresh rate. So you just bring the data in every hour into Data Cloud. So you just you can bring that 2 data extensions, the decisioning data extensions, back into Data Cloud, put them as part of the data graph. That basically means link them in the data graph. So now in this decision itself, you can choose if that subscriber is chosen to be going into like path A, right, by the agent, then that is the path you could select in here. And then you can put like a send to journey action, or if you want to do any additional processing, things like that. So that is another way to basically to leverage like the connectivity between MCE and Data Cloud, and also the data graph to make decisions. So you're essentially leveraging the agent to make the decision for you, but you're also taking the decision and doing some further orchestration within the flow. So that is another other powerful option that you have with the flow. So so what you need though is after you place the before you do the decision, you need to make sure you put like a wait for an amount of time, because always remember the data, if you are pulling data from Marketing Cloud, there is always like 1 hour at least that you need to wait for the data to come back. because the data stream refreshes every hour. So maybe you would like to put like an hour or 2 hours of wait here before you check for what journey the agent has chosen for the person, and then you can start to choose that additional processing. So just to summarize, so you don't even if the agent chooses the path for you, or you do not have to let the agent choose the path for you. You can actually make your own decision after the agent decides the journey for you by adding some additional logic in here by bringing those decisioning data extensions back into a data cloud. Okay. So like I mentioned, there is another option, which is the content selection. So the journey content selection piece, the way that I have understood, and again, there is limited documentation here, so I haven't seen too much around it, is that the data extension for content data will start to receive the customized content for the particular subscriber into like an attribute. So agent chooses a customized content. It will prepare that customized content based on each subscriber's context that you provide through data graph or through other means. And the customized content is something that you would that would go into the data extension. So now that the content is in data extension, what you could do is you could basically use an AMP script block within your email, pull that content in, use that as part of your like a block in your email. So using AMP script, you can always pull it, or you can add some decisioning around it if you want, things like that. So that is how I understood how you could leverage that content that journey decisioning agent is going to create for each subscriber. Okay, and so just to explain a little bit more about like the agent, what it offers for you within the flow. So how do you add an agent to the flow, right? So the agent, you don't add an entire agent, but rather the agent comes up with an actions, right? So there are two actions that the agent inherently has, which is one is the journey selection action, which does like the selection of the journey, and then the journey content action, which chooses the content for you. So what you do is you go into the flow and you select the action, and within that actions, you will start to see, similar to send to journey action that we had seen before. Here you will start to see that particular agent's journey selection action here. So you pull that action into this, and you will start to configure it, and then you will have this activity ready, and it will start to kind of choose the right journeys for your customer. And then I think one other important thing that to note here is subscriber key. Again, subscriber key also comes into play here because you are sending this data to an MCE journey, where if you're in MCE, subscriber key plays a huge role. So how does this resolve for the subscriber key? So what I have understood from documentation and from the discussions is that the agent, as part of the subscriber context that you provide, is going to look for, first of all, it's going to check for whether there is a subscriber key in the data. How is it going to check for the subscriber key? It has a unified individual ID. It will always have the unified individual ID with it, right? Because the data graph that you are building and providing starts from a unified individual. So the unified individual ID will be there. And using the unified individual ID, it is going to query multiple objects to check the data lineage to see if there is a data stream or something that is coming from MCE where there is a subscriber key for this person. If that subscriber key exists, then it is going to use that subscriber key and send that subscriber key into those data extensions in MCE along with the unified individual ID. If it realizes that it does not have access to a subscriber key anyway through the context that you have provided with the checks that it had done, then it will just use the unified individual ID to send to MCE. So this is where, I am yet to test this piece, but generally when you activate from Marketing Cloud to, from Data Cloud to MCE, the individual ID is the one that will act as a subscriber key at the end of the day, and Data Cloud will determine which one to send it, right? So which subscriber key to send, so which individual ID to send. But here, as per the documentation, it states that the unified individual ID is going to go into the data extensions in MCE from the agent. So unified individual ID is not a immutable one; it changes. So I am not sure how that will work out. Something we need to test. But my assumption is that ultimately, I think it has to be like the individual ID that has to go into MCE. So maybe there will be some correction that could happen there, or maybe it's there is a way to just send unified ID and we could still make it work, but that is yet to be seen. So that is another important part I want to state here. Okay, so with that, I want to wrap up because this is our final capability that we had seen so far. So just to do like a very quick run through of what we had seen today. So we basically saw that Engagement Plus unlocks for us the campaign integration feature. That basically means that you can integrate all the journeys into a campaign, and then you can start to see all the analytics into the campaign. Then the next thing is we have seen that you can trigger flows from journeys in MCE. You can leverage a lot of CRM data, Data Cloud data into those flows to enhance and make better orchestration, and then trigger the journeys in MCE from the flow using send to journey action. Then after that, instead of manually deciding which path the person should go into, you are asking an agent to do that. So the journey decisioning agent is the one that is going to help you with deciding which marketing journey that this person should go into. There are some data extensions that are generated with that, so you can leverage the data extensions for additional processing in Marketing Cloud engagement. And also remember the watchouts and important foundational elements that have to be always considered while building any of this to ensure that nothing is blocked along the way. So with that, I will stop. I'll pass it on to Greg. Greg, do we have time for questions, or do we want to close?
We do have a question. I think, though, we've only got 1 minute left. Okay. So we'll probably have to push that to the next session, the AMA. I have been answering some in the chat. But yeah, please feel free to, if you see this and want to ask any questions. The AMA registration is live on the site. I will probably be pushing a LinkedIn post or other areas linking to it, but feel free to go there. We have a form that you can submit questions ahead of time as well to be able to get your question in, and we actually have voucher certification that we can, or a voucher for a certification exam that we can provide through random selection of people that have submitted questions ahead of time. So please do look to join there. I will move the question across, so even if you don't enter it in, we will be pushing that into our question segments there. And again, that is coming on the 5th, 2/5. It is not 2/3, which is what was originally shown. This was moved to help make sure we're able to get everyone in and able to talk and get you the answers you need. So with that, I want to say thank you to everyone that was able to come on. Thank you to Bhanu. This was fantastic, and the recording will be available on the How to SFMC YouTube channel. So thank you, everyone, and see you on the next session.
Thank you so much.